Welcome, everybody. My name is Tyler, and this is the Pop Culture Corner. And we're doing a little bit of an update today as some cool, frankly, alarming and awesome news just dropped across the interwebs. I know some people have been speculating it for a while now that Spider-Man would remain in the MCU, but today the president or vice president of Sony Pictures, has dropped a little clue as to where and what the future of Spider-Man will be in the MCU. But before we get into all that, we got to do a little housekeeping, as always. Huge shout out to all of our members, as always. And you guys are truly amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You can support the channel by clicking join below and becoming a member for as low as $2.99 a month. We also have our second and third tiers. And for those tiers, this month we're giving away a Quadcast, HyperX Quadcast microphone valued at $150. We have one more day until we announce the winner. So if you'd like that, definitely join. Also, we're giving away a Superior Octopus Pop to one person out of all the tiers. So anyone is eligible for that. Make sure to smash that like button and do all that other, stuff. Share it across social media and, hit subscribe and ring the notification bell. But let's get into it. I wrote a little article. About it already, and I did post it. So we'll kind of open that up and talk a little bit about it. But kind of like the general gist, if you want to call it that, is so Sony Pictures and Marvel struck a deal they struck it previous to the date that they announced it, which was February of 2015. It seems like just yesterday that we were running across the streets and partying with the announcement of Spider-Man in the MCU. But yeah, no, it was, how long ago is that? That's 6 years of Spider-Man in at the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that's pretty cool. But throughout those long years and, three of his, what is going to be 3 solo films, and then Avengers Infinity War, Civil War, and Endgame, so that's 6 movies total. Throughout that process, people have been wondering what could be next for the web slinger in the future of the Marvel Universe. Would Sony kind of see the money and be like, yeah, we're going to take him back. We're going to insert him into the universe that we're creating with Venom, Morbius, Craven, etc., etc. And people got worried. Like, are they just going to rip Tom Holland out of the Marvel universe and kind of send him packing exclusively to Sony? There's a lot of problems with that, by the way. Like, there's a lot of problems with that notion. Because first, how are you going to go with a Spider-Man who originally existed in the Marvel universe with Iron Man, Captain America, Doctor Strange, and so on and so forth, and then take him away and continue that story, but without the world that he was created in? So there lies like the biggest problem. And then you have a lot of other problems. First off, MJ Zenday's character is owned by Disney. It's not the Mary Jane Watson character. It is her own, the Disney and Marvel creation of a different name. So, Sony couldn't use that character. So you'd have to find a way to transition Spider-Man away from that love interest, which they could do because, let's face it, like kids in high school, like those relationships never last. You could easily explain it away, but it's also like Zendaya is a big part of this franchise now. Ned would be able to stay, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but there's just like so many problems when you start to unlayer it that it's almost in Sony's best interest to keep the deal the way it is. And then if they wanted to start a multiversal version of Spider-Man, maybe even Miles Morales, if you want to do it that way. Because I think that could be kind of a cool way to introduce Miles and also be able to bring him into the MCU. One of the problems with Miles being in the MCU currently is the age, right? The age of Spider-Man. the age of Peter, because in most comics and even video games, Peter is depicted as a mentor figure to Miles and is kind of like 10 or 15, maybe, maybe 10 to 15 years older. So that is a problem, at least in my eyes, right? You could do away with that and kind of spin it in your own way. But I think that aspect of their relationship is a huge part of what makes Miles Miles and, what drives him, right? A seasoned Spider-Man who's near the end and then dies, really gets him into that taking on the mantle mode. So I think if you take that away, some of Miles is gone. But again, movies tend to do their own thing and not exactly adapt 100%, the comic book source material, and that's okay. But again, once you start peeling back things, right, you start getting into a, oh yeah, sure, yeah, for sure, I'll definitely bring you in. But before I do, I just wanted to get to a couple other things. So listen, another gripe before I move on. Actually, you know what? I will bring him in for this, because I want to know how everyone else felt about this situation with the tickets and everything like that. Because I was online. Listen, I'm on lunch right now, so I have an hour starting whatever 10 minutes ago to do this stream, and so I had work this morning, and I'm doing my second job as well tonight. And I was up till 4:30 in the goddamn morning with the AMC fucking website thing, and the app crashed a million times. Oh God. I was so livid. But let's bring in Jarbo to talk about that situation and just the news in general. Because I think I could talk about this by myself, but it's always nice to have someone else to talk to. Let me get him in here real quick. I don't want there to be awkward silences, so I'm just gonna ramble for a couple minutes and do my thing and ramble and talk and hopefully continue to keep your entertainment. Just kidding. I'm a loser. But yeah, no, so I was online till so one of the biggest one of the biggest problems that I have with AMC is that this isn't the first time it's happened. And you knew, you had to know that your site was going to have increased traffic today because of Spider-Man tickets going on sale. So at first you were entered into this virtual line. Actually, I think if you go on the website right now, you're still entered into that virtual line, except it's more like a minute rather than what first for me was more than an hour, it said. And that was when I saw that, I'm like, oh God, because I need to sleep. So I set an alarm. And then when I woke up to the alarm, I opened my phone. I was still in line, but I had 4 minutes left. So I'm like, oh great. Wow. I woke up literally right in time. This is awesome. And I get entered, right? It's like, your turn is now. And then it says, failure to load seats. Try again. And when I hit refresh, I thought it was going to just have me try again. No. What it meant was get to the back of the line, homie. I was just like, oh, you have got to be kidding me. Because I'm okay. I'm okay because I work with Showcase Cinemas. Not work for them, but I partner with them. And we do big premieres. I sent the thing to you, right? Yeah. So I do big premieres with Showcase Cinemas. So I'm already guaranteed to see it early, even earlier than Thursday. So what I was doing was trying to get tickets from my date and I for our second show. And it was just disheartening. Let's see what the comments got to say while we wait for Jarbo, because I don't want to continue talking too much because I know we're going to do it with him. So Andrew Casali's obviously here. He's just mad that listen, I want to say this. I've been saying for quite some time now that I think the way it's going to happen is they're going to set up the multiverse and the issues of the multiverse and the villains and etc., the heroes with the No Way Home. I don't think Toby and Andrew will be in it for a long time if they are in it, but it will set. I've been saying, how long have I could literally pull clips of myself saying this a million times. I think they're setting up a Spider-Verse trilogy to give fans of Toby and Andrew more screen time with A, their favorite Spider-Man, and B, with all the Spider-Man, and C, by doing like a cool like Spider-Verse trilogy. I don't see why that's not a win. Now, I can't confirm that that's real, but it seems like that's the direction we're going, is a Spider-Verse. I mean, why wouldn't you capitalize on the growing popularity of the Spider-Verse concept? So let me know in the comments. Do you think that they're setting up a Spider-Verse trilogy? I mean, again, they could base this whole Spider-Verse trilogy on Peter being in college. And that's okay with me if that's like the premise for it. But I'd also want Miles to be there. And I would also want Toby and Andrew there in some capacity. That's the way I would want it done. Like, those all have to happen for the boxes to all be checked, in my opinion. We're what? And then he says, we are getting Spider-Verse No Way Home. Duh. What? I don't even know what that means, Andrew. Andrew, you seem like you're very upset today. I don't understand. Like, out of all the people in the world, Andrew, I thought you would be the most happy to hear about like the multiverse, because this gives the potential for your favorite Spider-Man to swing into the MCU and then to stick around in like 18 movies. But I mean, I don't know. What up, man?
Hey, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Dude, I'm great. It's good to see you early.
Yeah. I'm at the library right now. I'm in like my car.
Oh,
So
okay.
I have like my daughter's in preschool and I usually go to the library after I drop her off to get some work done. And I'm just like, nah, I don't really feel like sitting there today.
Dude, so first off, like, we'll get into the news, obviously. But tell me, did you buy tickets today or this morning, whatever you
This
want to call
morning.
it?
I bought my tickets this morning.
All right. So what was your experience? Was it as bad as mine?
So in my neck of the woods, all I have is a Cinemark and a Regal. And the Cinemark is like more of a luxury theater, and that's just literally down the street from where I live. So that's where I go.
Okay.
And they were down all last night. Their systems were down. I had to literally reset my password because like the website itself crashed so many times and it wouldn't let me
Oh
log
my
in and
God.
all that stuff. And then I was also checking like Fandango and Atom tickets and a lot of other websites, and they were all down as well. I
Well,
wasn't going to use any of them though, but
right. You know what my problem was for me specifically was her and I are Stubbs A-list members. So we
yeah,
pay like the $23 a month to go see 3 movies a week. So we couldn't use anything else. Like, trust me, if I didn't pay for that 23 bucks a month, I would have just went to a different theater. We have Showcase around here. It's your Regal. Like, that's what it's comparable to, right?
yeah.
It's like the Regal out there. Actually, super super similar, because Regal, I love Regal. I used to go to one in Oceanside, near San Diego.
Oh yeah.
One of the best theaters I've ever been to. And that's what I like. Even the buildings look the same. It's insane to me.
I think
um
around that area, it's more of the Edwards Theater too, and those are traditionally nicer. But yeah, in that area, they put a lot of money
yeah,
in
yep,
like that like what South OC North County San Diego area.
right. um so 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 yeah, I couldn't. And another issue was the app was so funky that it wasn't recognizing me as a member. So the first time, no, it was like the third time I got in, it was like, what kind of ticket do you want? Child, senior, or regular? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah,
because that, when you're an A-list member, that option isn't there. It just says, do you want to make this one of your passes for the week? And you say yes, and then it goes, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I was so dude, I must have tweeted at AMC last night like 14 times.
I
I was,
did see that you were frustrated with
yes,
your ticket buying experience
yes.
for
I was,
AMC.
I was fucking, cause I was up till 4:30 in the morning and like, I should have just joined you at that point. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I should have just stayed up with you. Cause like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to get some sleep and like, this is going to be easy. Nope, not at all. Not at all.
well, I mean, was looking at Cinemark, and this morning I got up. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go check and see what's going on because they start the screenings at 3 p.m.
Yeah,
here.
so that's what I ended up getting is 3
Yeah, me
p.m.
too. I got 3 p.m. and I got the seat that I like. And
Woo!
I'm like, cool. Because the thing is, like, I was gonna go see it by myself because that's just kind of how, like it is these days.
Yeah, that's
Um,
typically how I roll. I don't care.
yeah.
Like I have no shame, by the way, in seeing movies alone. I don't know why anyone would.
For me, it's a shared experience. I'm really
Okay.
into the shared experience of that. So it's like, I remember, let's say, for example, going to see like Avatar for the first time in
Oh,
3D IMAX,
dude.
going with my best friend. And then and then not long after that, I took my girlfriend who I'm still with. We had just started dating. It was a year later, so we've been together for a year. But like, I took her to go see it in 3D IMAX because
Mhm.
it was, like going to see like the Watchmen in IMAX, taking like my girlfriend opening day, and then taking another really good friend of mine a week later to go see it. Like those kind of shared experiences are the ones that mean the most to me.
For
So
sure.
I love, like, that was the thing I missed about working at the drive-in, was like all of us who worked there were movie fans. So we'd all just like hang out and watch movies, you know? And then we talk about it and we have a good old time. And so, but now with everything being as divided as it is, it makes it a bit more difficult. But I've learned over the years to just go by myself and not care.
Right.
So, because I can just go online and talk to someone else who's seen it, and then be fine. But you're never going to beat that shared experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're you know what? You are right. It's just like in my mind, or in my situation, I should say. The girlfriend
Yeah.
that I she doesn't it's not one of her priorities to see these films. And like
Yeah.
typically I find myself going alone more often than not by my own choice, but like because it's either that or I like go and pay for a homeless guy to join me.
Yeah.
So
Well, see, it's like I'll tell you this: the last movie my girlfriend and I saw in theaters together was Wreck It Ralph 2.
oh my god.
And then before that was like, I think we saw Solo, because we would go all the time, like up until like December 2017. The last movie her and I saw together before the birth of our daughter, I think, was Justice League. And she was right there at the end. This is like, my daughter was born 4 years ago on Friday. So,
Oh, no way.
she was popping around that time anyway. And
Right.
then after that, like, my dad and my stepmom watched her while we went to go see Solo. And then after that, it was 6 months later, and we went to go see Wreck It Ralph 2. And that was like a date night sort of thing. And then she was pregnant at that time, a second time, because I'm a busy boy.
Yes,
And
you are, Jarbo.
so we ended up, like, we just haven't gone. We watch movies at home, but generally, like, because I cover movies and because of all that stuff, like, I have to go see them. At least I try to go see certain ones. And she hasn't really showed an interest. I mean, especially with COVID, of going to the theater. So, I mean, that's just kind of how we do it now.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, so that's the issue is like but when you're at the theater, do you like do you feel lonelier that like when you see it alone? Because like I found
Um,
that it's kind of it's kind of satisfying and relieving and relaxing.
it's yes and no, yes and no. So, like, for example, walking out of something where there's like a cliffhanger ending, you
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah. So
and
there's
you
no one
want to
to
just kind
react
of like,
to it.
yeah, you want to talk about it. And like, I know people out there pull out their phone and they'll do a quick like 2 minute reaction, and I've done that and I don't mind it, but I feel so absolutely effing cheesy when I do, because I'm like, hey, internet, let me tell you how I feel about this movie that I just saw. I
Well,
would much rather have that conversation with a person.
that's why I honestly, that, Jarbo, that's where the idea came from. What I do is the little shows afterwards was, how can we create that reaction moment in a way where the channel benefits, I benefit, and maybe the audience benefits. However, the problem that we've run into is we go opening night and some people haven't seen it by then. So we're taking a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
approach this time. So I hope that works out. But onto
I mean,
what we're kind of here
right.
for
Fake
is
news.
this. And listen, I kind of poked fun at a little bit at what's his name, Will from the Sci-Fi Center.
Believe me.
Yeah.
Believe me. RJ and I, we're trying to figure out how to spend our money at a store. So we made a bet with William, and he bet us that $100 credit to a store. And so I'm like, you know what, man, give me that Final Crisis omnibus. It's $100.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. That's an easy one. That's a good one.
There you go. There you go.
But I've been saying, okay, so I let's read the little quote here. Sure. So this is, oh God, my headphones. 1 second. Okay. So in an interview with Fandango, she's the vice president, right? Amy PASCAL?
No. So Amy PASCAL used to be the co-president of Sony Pictures. And then when the email leak happened,
I know she like quit back then.
She stepped. Yeah. So what it was is she wasn't going to step down, but then some emails came out that were not the best. You know, kind of iffy. All right. You know. So she kind of like had to plan an exit strategy, and at that point, and this is my personal take on it, so this is how I believe it went down. I could be wrong, but it seems the most likely. She knew she was going to get ousted by the board regardless, right? So she kind of situated herself an exit strategy, and that was working with Kevin Feige to move Spider-Man into the MCU. And so she set herself up like her PASCAL Productions or whatever it's called,
okay,
and put Spider-Man under that purview. And so then she was in control of Spider-Man at Sony pretty much, while no longer being in charge of Sony. She kind of like took over their most valuable property and put herself in charge of it, and then was like, okay, I'll see you guys later. And then she took off.
Yeah. Okay. So I was mistaken, because I was under the impression she was still okay. That makes it, because I was unclear on why. Because I read multiple articles back then about how she was stepping down, how she was quitting, yada yada, and then I'm like, how come anytime this lady speaks, people take it as like she still works there, she knows exactly what's going on. But that makes more sense that
I could be mistaken on that, but that's how I recall
no,
it happening.
that sounds, I think I've heard, because I've seen the PASCAL production tag before, and I figured that was something that was already in place and was just had her name on it. But I think that's probably the case. So basically what she says to Fandango is, this is not the last movie that we're going to make with Marvel. The last Spider-Man movie, PASCAL revealed, we are getting ready to make the next Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland and Marvel. We're thinking of this as 3 films, and now we're going on to the next 3. This is not the last of our MCU movies. Amy PASCAL, Sony Pictures. I forgot to read the parentheses. That's why that came off weird. So this is not the last Spider-Man movie. And I think for most, I think a lot of people, after Venom, right, we just like, we're like, okay, this is definitely happening now. And why would they tease us like that only to pull Spider-Man out after No Way Home?
Well, so, I mean, the thing is like, look, what happened 2 years ago gives you an absolute understanding of the fact that that Sony is not stupid. They did not come out looking well from that debacle 2 years ago. And they ended up working a deal that I said this at the time, that Spider-Man's going to continue in the MCU, and they're probably going to find a way to integrate the Sony characters into the Marvel Cinematic Universe through touch points that are going to probably go only one direction, meaning like MCU characters are going to dip over to there, but we're never going to see like Venom in an Avengers movie or something. I could be wrong. They could make that deal, but it doesn't make a lot of sense, like in regards to like, finances. But the other side of it is this: if Sony does not work with Marvel, they will eventually screw themselves to the point of having to either sell back the rights to Marvel or Sony forfeit. And that's something that they don't want to do because it is their most lucrative cash cow at the moment, outside of maybe their television division, which does very well. But a lot of people push back on that. They're like, no. Marvel's going to step back and Sony's going to take over. And I'm like, why would Sony share the money? And it's like, because Sony is realizing that they can't do it on their own, and they never could do it on their own. They got lucky with the Spider-Man movies, the Raimi ones, because Raimi is a good director. Exactly. And then they still screwed him on number 3, and it left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. And then they decided to reboot 5 years later and give us Andrew Garfield, and then they screwed that one too. What makes me think that under any circumstances they would be able to do this one well?
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? I don't know how good my audio quality is. I apologize. I'm outside right now on my lunch break, but I had to come in and gloat for a little bit. I've been calling this for like a year and a half. Everyone told me, "Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. They're never good. They're gonna cancel the deal. It's gonna fall apart in this movie. They're not gonna do it again. They're not gonna do it."
Hey, RJ,
again. Another trilogy, baby.
How does
Another
victory
trilogy.
taste?
It'll chase even better when I go to Vegas next month and William hands me my $100 and my signed comic book.
Oh shit! Was there? I didn't know $100. I didn't know $100 was added to the deal. That's
Well,
extra
it's
money.
$100 of like store credit. So I mean, either way.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what, RJ? I'll have to give you my PO box and like have you put my omnibus into an envelope and mail it to me when you're there, just to make sure that William upholds his end of the bargain with me as well.
Yeah, that's gonna be a we need that confirmed.
The bet
I need like photos.
Vegas loss.
Well, you know what's really funny too, though. What's really funny? William kind of changed his his mind a little bit. He said, "Oh, so here's what's gonna happen. He's gonna stay in the MCU, but Sony will produce and make the solo movies." Not even that's happening.
Yeah, I mean,
you saw the backtracking immediately.
Yeah, he pedaled backwards a little bit, but that's okay. We give him
a little bit.
No, we love William. We love William. We love William.
Guys, I have a serious question. So I've been saying it for a while that No Way Home is a setup for the Spiderverse, like a live action Into the Spiderverse style trilogy. The chances of that happening, over, under, Vegas odds?
I don't know if they're gonna mess with success necessarily. The Into the Spider-Verse is an Oscar-winning film, beating Disney for Best Animated Feature, and I don't see them really kind of wanting to mess with that a bit. But I do think this is going to kind of be that particular take.
I think we will get a live action Miles Morales. That's my prediction, and I also think that by probably in the fourth, I think the next trilogy is going to be a lot darker, a lot more mature, different cast of characters. I don't think you're going to see the same supporting cast you've had in the high school trilogy. I think you're going to get something completely different with this trilogy.
So,
there's going to be
Peter
and a new director as well. New director, new visual style, everything.
Okay, and do you think so? If they decide, I don't know if they decided to do like a Spider-Verse, I guess maybe to rephrase what I was saying a little bit is, I don't know if they would necessarily call it like Into the Spider-Verse, but it would be a general like idea that they're
isn't that kind of what we're getting with this movie No Way Home though? Isn't this kind of our live action Spider-Verse in a way?
Well, what I've been saying is I don't think Toby, and Andrew gets really mad at me about this, which I mean, I get it. I think, because I don't mean to reduce Toby to a post-credit scene, but I don't think that they are going to be either large parts of this film that's coming next month, and I think they're going to sow the seeds, because in my eyes, why would you shoot all your ammunition into this one film when you could sow the seeds of this happening and then lay the groundwork for a new trilogy.
Yeah,
Sort
no,
of.
I think that's certainly a possibility. I like let's say Toby and Andrew are in the movie. I don't think they'll be in it for like much longer than the third act. They're not going to be like an hour and a half long into this movie or something crazy, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. I heard. I mean, again, all rumor, but apparently, like they're only in the movie for like 24 minutes each. Is what someone tweeted out
That's a
the other
lot. That's
day.
a lot of screen time though, because like Cap in Infinity War only had like 8 minutes, you know?
Yeah,
And
but
like
Yeah.
Cap
Iron
wasn't the
Man and Cap and
primary character.
Endgame had like well Cap and Iron Man and Endgame were only in it for like 30 each or something, or like 25 minutes each.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, okay, but that's still a massive ensemble where they have to go through multiple timelines. This is
You're
everyone's coming to New York.
Did they give any context as to like if it's the same 24 minutes or like
No, there's
one
no
and
specification
one?
on that.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, who's got the weird
No,
feedback?
I think I'm on speakerphone. Maybe that's me.
That's most likely what it is then.
It might be me.
I
I
would
am
think
outside.
that I look at it from the same perspective, and only because this makes sense to me. If they have 30 minutes each, I think they would be in the same shots together because that way you could equal out that 30 minutes evenly. The same type of logic was applied for like I know this sounds like a weird angle to go from, but like with Roger Rabbit, like Bugs and Mickey and Daffy and Donald were all on screen together. They had to share the same amount of screen time though, which was 30 minutes, and so they just made a scene with them in the shot together, and it worked out. So I think that's what they'll do for Toby and Andrew if they're in the movie.
Well, I just the thing about it is like I said, I think it's a lot to take on in one film. It's a lot of people to squeeze in, and we see what happens when crowded storylines over like when they overshadow a good story, and you try to do too much. And I think there's a healthy balance somewhere, and I really do hope they achieved it with this film.
No, totally. This movie is like a large task ahead of itself. You know, there's so much it needs to accomplish in only 2 hours and like what 15 minutes when you don't count the credits. You know,
Well,
so like
the good thing about this movie though is it gets to rush right into the story. It's going to be basically a direct continuation from Far From Home. So we don't need a lot of setup, right? Think of it like this. Go back and look at Casino Royale 2006 to Quantum of Solace 2008.
right, it just jumps right into the action.
Yeah, it just jumps right in 2 hours later, continues the story. I think that's what this is going to be. And it's just going to drop us right in, and we're just going to hit the ground running, which is awesome because then it opens up more for whatever could be coming.
I have an interesting question because I posed this earlier. If we were to introduce Miles in some form or fashion, do you think there's a problem with the age difference? Because Miles is typically depicted as what 10 to 12 years younger than Peter, if not more than that.
Well, it depends on the version, right?
Yeah.
If you do it to where they're both high school age, then it could work. Or you could have to where Peter's in college and Miles is like a freshman in high school or something, or a sophomore in high school, you know?
Right.
I think the comic version was he was in middle school, was he like an 8th grader? I think.
No,
like
I don't
early
think he
high
was that
school?
young. I think he was like a
Early
freshman
high
in high
school?
school. Yeah, it was early high school, I think.
For some reason, I got the vibe of middle school for some reason. I was like, what the hell?
Well, yeah, I mean, I just think that there might be a way to do it where, because the issue I'm having is the Donald Glover scene, where he's the Uncle Aaron, right? Who ends up being the Prowler, I believe that's the name, right?
Yeah, the Prowler.
Right. So that would based on Donald Glover's age, being an uncle, the way it would line up, I don't think would necessarily be right. However, especially for Peter to be the mentor type, when he's still being mentored himself currently. But
there's actually so many cliffhangers, some Homecoming they still haven't addressed yet. The Uncle Aaron thing, having Aaron Davis there, what's that connection? Him teasing Miles Morales in the MCU. Plus, you had the post-credit scene with Scorpion that still hasn't been paid off yet, like 2 movies later.
Right.
I still
And
think that Kingpin might finance Scorpion becoming a thing in this new iteration. I still stand by that. That makes the most sense to me.
Well,
yeah, and
actually, if J. Jonah Jameson is more of an Alex Jones type character, it would give more of a storyline for him to still finance
Yeah.
Scorpion.
Well, in the comics, J. Jonah financed Scorpion, so I mean, they could still do something like that if they wanted to. Give J.K. Simmons a bigger role, you know?
it would make so much sense for like an Alex Jones to fund a villain. Like that would be such a funny parallel. Oh my god.
I
Yes,
just hate
sign
that he
me
had to
up.
fight to keep the mustache. I hate that he had to fight to keep that. Like, why? It's iconic.
What's Sam say? Yeah, I called him J. Jonah Gordon because he looks exactly like he did in Justice League with the trench
Kind
coat
of
and the
do wish
hat.
he kept the hair too. I wanted the hair piece. It just it all fit. It fit together. It's
Listen,
nice.
he looks pretty suave in that hat and trench coat, you know.
Yeah, it's a good look for him. And it really is a good look. I'm not gonna lie.
Look like he's about to go on a detective noir storyline.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
looked great in that in the Snyder cut. You know, he looked really fantastic in Gotham.
Yeah, I think he looked great in Gotham City. And I wish that we got to see a little bit more of him because I love Jay Jonah. And well, Jay Jonah Gordon is what
I
now
I would
when I
like to
refer to
piggyback
him.
off of what RJ was talking about for the new trilogy. Because this is another point that RJ and I have both been saying about this arc. Um, we're gonna get closer to Tom Holland's version being the Spider-Man we all know and love. So there
Well,
is a good
that's
chance
the
that
right.
characters.
Well, no, Meta, absolutely. Like the whole point of this movie, even the synopsis of the film says this is the film that's going to set everything in place for him to become Spider-Man, the icon Spider-Man. Like I
Yeah,
think this film is going to reset some things because it is a multiverse movie and it is kind of a Strange is going to cast a spell.
yeah, some retcon.
I think it's going to be a very dark movie that's going to make this Peter way worse off than he was at the start of this trilogy.
Is it just me, or are they going to just name the fourth film Spider-Man? You know, like they're doing the prequel as a setup, and then they're going to just call it that. Like, or maybe whenever he becomes
Well,
Spider-Man.
they gotta come up with like some
I've
new because like we had the Home
I've
trilogy,
been
right?
joking
So
and saying they're gonna call it College Bound.
Yeah, I think they already said that they're getting rid of the home thing after this. Like it's
well, it
Yeah,
makes
that's what I'm
sense. Yeah,
saying.
that's the moniker for this trilogy. So it's come up with like a new naming convention.
right. Do you think so with with Morbius coming? Do you think that they maybe because originally Morbius was supposed to come out before Venom, right?
That's supposed to come out like all the way back in like what 2020, I think.
I think it was supposed to come out in like
Yeah,
2003. Honestly, at this point, I can't even remember.
2003? No
It was
way.
a joke, dog. Come on, relax.
I
Uh,
mean the
I mean, the
style of
way
how it
Sony
looks, Ty,
goes,
is
yeah.
not wrong.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
It
No,
looks
but
like a 2003 movie.
Morbius was supposed to come out. Do you think they changed the Venom? Do you think they added that post-credit scene into Venom after to kind of make it like, okay, now we know we're gonna do this, right? Maybe before they didn't know, and now they're like, all right, it's being done. It's setting it up. Now we're adding in that Venom, whatever gets transported to the
Maybe
MCU.
I don't know though because the first trailer came out back and before the pandemic. I think it came out like January
For what?
2020, and it teased the Vulture, teased the MCU connection. So I don't know what they were thinking back when it was had the original release strategy. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's very confusing because in the shot in Morbius, we also see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on like the poster. And then
Yeah,
Toby's
it says
Daily
yeah,
Bugle
and
as
it's the
well.
murderer on it.
It's
So it's
literally a
implying
shot
it's
from the
going to be
game
far from
too.
home.
Right, exactly. So it was kind of like it's like they don't know which universe they were in. So like, all right, throw them all in there, and we'll just have plausible deniability for everything that we decide to do. But I do. Is there a day where we could see maybe that there is no Sony Spider-Verse and it's all just the MCU and not like separate universes?
I think that's a goal that Sony maybe wants to have, and I think that's what they probably should have done to begin with. We have to wait and see though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It makes the most sense because again, like it's not just Spider-Man that has interactions with all these other characters. Like I've said this multiple times already. I hate or like Jared Leto all you want. I want to see Morbius interact with Blade like so bad. Like I just want to see that on screen.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking the other day, dude? Morbius has a scene in Blade, the original Blade, but it's a very blink and you'll miss it kind of cameo, and it's only name recognized. I didn't even
Like they say,
remember
Michael
that.
Morbius.
There's something because I was listening to Joe Rogan and they were like, they were talking about it, and I was like, wait, really? And then I looked it up, and yeah, and it really is. But I don't have too long either. I definitely just wanted to get into this news a little bit, and obviously we'll break it down a little bit more as the weeks come on. I do. So Sean O'Connell was talking about how there's going to be a screening next week, as early as next week.
Yeah, I know. The press is going to be able to. Okay, so the press is going to see it next week, and then Brazil and some other countries get on like Wednesday. Dude, there's no way people are going to avoid spoilers. Someone's
I
going to
know.
leak some stuff in this movie. I'm going to be very upset.
So, our public service announcement of today is if you want to go in clean, right? Not dirty, like with spoilers. I don't know, guys. Would you say the month of December? No social media?
I would say
Or
after like starting on what
December
next
4th.
Monday. Next Monday. Next
Yeah,
Monday you
December
need to start
3rd is
getting
when
off.
the earliest screening theoretically could be. But do you think that people would really spoil a movie like this? Endgame was kept tight somehow. I don't understand how.
well, the person from Variety leaked the Eternals post-credit scene, so nothing's off the table anymore.
Yeah, you're right. You are right. That was a scumbag move too. Scumbag move. But
I still have questions about this post-credit scene.
did you end up going to see the movie?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't really want to talk about Eternals ever again. So,
I still
I
haven't.
am
seen it.
fine
I'm
with
probably
that.
gonna end up waiting.
what's up, Matt?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm probably just going to end up waiting for Disney Plus, which I think it will probably be on there.
Comes
Soon.
out in January.
Very soon.
Yeah, I'll just wait. I don't even care.
Yeah. There's no. I mean, is it even still in?
Smart move.
Probably is still in theaters. Actually.
Yeah, it's still in theaters.
Well, I guess a character dies in the movie. I just saw it like
What's your
spoiled the other
problem
day.
today?
So through a bunch of websites, we're just talking about like the quote from Chloe Zhao, and then you can easily they're all trying to be vague, but you can easily piece together what they're saying because it's just stupid. I hate journalism.
No, I totally get you, man.
That's a whole nother topic, though. That really is a whole nother topic. It's a whole nother can of worms. Everyone wants to be the first one to fucking post something. Everyone wants to get
It's a rat race.
Yeah, everyone wants to get their jollies and then feel tingly inside. So, like the things like John Campea, that thing happens because of that reason. And people want to be trending, and people want to be the first to tell you something, even if it ruins your entire experience. They don't care because they're more concerned with the pedestal that they need to be on. And that's what makes for like very, 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 what'd you call it, Matt? Hate journalism? Anger journalism? Why is everyone muted?
Oh, it's like no, I said why. It's definitely.
You sound like you're having a stroke.
Wait, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, now I can. But, it's when you got to find this moment in the stream. By the way, all right, we're 46 minutes in. Go listen to what you just sounded like, because it literally sounded like you were about to have a stroke. It was pretty funny. Thank you for that. I'm clipping it. But what did you call it?
What it is. So.
Okay. But anything else to add? Anything else to add to what's going on? Actually, before we go, RJ, I know you had problems with buying tickets for this. How was your experience?
Yeah, no, I did. I had to stay up until like 4 in the morning to get tickets. It was crazy.
Yeah, you and me both. And you bought them.
Wait, you said until 4?
Yeah, I slept till 4 in the morning. I only got like an hour of sleep.
Same.
You absolute mad lad.
Yeah,
I had to. I
I'm
had
working
to get
two
I had to get
jobs
tickets for
today.
Friday and Saturday, man. I had to.
Dude, because of my job, I can't even guarantee that I'll be able to see it in the first screenings. So, like, I was like, screw it. I'll just wait. I'll just wait.
Well, if you haven't got your tickets by now,
Uh,
there's no chance of you seeing it in the first screenings anyway. But you
that's
know
what I'm
what?
saying. I guess whatever.
But this makes me smile. Like, it's nice to see a sold out theater again, and not just a sold out theater, but sold out showings for a movie. And like, my AMC has 8 screens playing digital, one playing IMAX, one playing Dolby, and then there's one 3D, which honestly, I might even want to see this movie in 3D, to be honest. Like,
Multiple
afterwards.
showings of this movie will definitely happen.
Yes, I already have
It's gonna
2
be a lot of fun.
confirmed.
Yeah, because I'm going to Vegas in December, and like I went to like book this. It was such a fight because most of them are almost sold out. Like I checked today because it's much easier to buy tickets. Most of the showings are sold out.
Yeah. And if they're not sold out, like, only the
This.
first 2 rows are available.
And let's be
So,
fair,
can I ask, with this, like,
Okay.
I want to ask now, like, with how these tickets are selling out so fast, and the amounts they're selling out, and like, does No Way Home have a chance of breaking the previous movie's record,
Yes.
or even getting close to it?
Which previous movie? Far From Home?
Yeah, like, does it break Far From Home's like box office record? Because right now, Far From Home is still Sony's highest grossing movie.
Yes,
Like,
this movie is going
does No Way Home beat that?
This movie is going to sprint past Far Away Home, look back, and say, on your left. Like, it's not even, I just hit my keyboard. It's not even going to be a contest, I don't think. That's my opinion, though.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with all the speculation and hype, Far From Home didn't trend every day.
Omicron.
Far From Home also didn't have tickets sell out like this, or it didn't have like
Omicron.
crashing.
What'd you call it?
Omicron variant.
What is, oh, that's the new COVID
That's
thing,
the
right?
new variant.
Do you think this will have a second week drop or a third week drop
No,
then?
I think word of mouth. It's coming out. Look, it's coming out right before the 2-week holiday break for kids in school. So it's going to do just like the Rise of Skywalker did, most likely, where the weekdays, day to day is going to do very well. I don't see it really dipping. If people are safe about it, it will be fine. But if
See,
there
but
is,
I feel like this is a movie. This feels like a movie people are gonna risk going out to go see, though. That's my thing, though.
yeah, maybe, but at the same time, we've also been accommodating the streaming life, and so the diehards are
True,
going
but this movie feels like it's an event, though. It feels like different from anything you could stream before.
to
This is the kind of movie you need to go
about
rush out see.
think about the kids for a second.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Is like, family movies are not doing as well. Mostly because parents are afraid taking their kids out. If there was the vaccine, I mean, now it's 5 to 11 is out there. That might be a difference, But again,
Right.
we're coming up on the holiday season, and parents, we don't know what they're going to do. If I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm merely voicing, a side opinion. I think people are going to go see the movie, but at the same time, it could also freak people out.
Yeah, you're not wrong by any stretch of the imagination. This thing could, like, your diehard Marvel fans go out, and then, even if only 50% of the general audience turns out, right, for in theater viewing, that's a problem for Marvel, at least and Sony, in terms of this film being a financial, monster. And I don't think it'll come close to like Avengers, like Infinity War Endgame, but I definitely, I guess in my mind, I've just been assuming that everyone feels the way that we do.
Here's the thing too. I think it's gonna do very well domestically. My only concern is the worldwide box office because of what happened to Venom. Opened much better than the first movie did domestically. Worldwide, it kind of sputtered out.
Okay. So
Well, also Venom wasn't that good of a movie. It was fine.
it
True.
was a 90-minute fucking
Yeah, but the
smash
foreign
job.
audiences eat that shit up though.
They do. You're not wrong about that either. So real quick before we go, then box office predictions. Total worldwide growth. Is it gross or net? That's before all
I
the
think it's gross.
whatever. You know what I mean. Total worldwide. I'm saying like 910 million. I think it's gonna beat pretty much right. That would put it above Spider-Man 3. Would that put it above Spider-Man 2?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna beat all previous Spider-Man films, but not quite crack. Oh wait, no,
Well, Far From Home is still the top
because
earner,
No
I'll
Way
tell
Home
you.
and Far From Home all
Yeah, that's
hit a
why
bill.
I posed the question, because I think it has
Shit.
the potential possibility. Yeah, it's Sony's highest grossing movie.
I didn't even think about that actually. They did crack a bill on
Yep.
No Way Home, and then Far From Home was like right there, right? Or it was even higher than I can't remember exactly. Let me look that up real quick.
Like,
But
Far From
you guys
Home.
got to remember though is that Far From Home was also the slingshot effect carried to it by Endgame, and that
Endgame.
was another thing that really drove people to go see it.
Yeah, Far From Home was 1.13 billion. Damn.
Like, I think people are going to go see this movie.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, I think people were going to see Far From Home regardless, but I do agree with you, Matt, that just like with Captain Marvel, like, because it happened after Endgame, people were going to go see it because of, like, the, okay, can't even talk now. Like, what happens after Endgame in this movie that, makes it, worth going to see? People want to go see it because of that. But this one, No Way Home has the effect of being slingshotted by Far From Home because of that ending. So I just think it's interesting.
But also it's been 2.5 years. So there is a time. I'm gonna be contrarian here. I would say that the movie, given the current circumstances, you're looking at about probably 800 million worldwide. I don't see it cracking $1 billion, although it might, and that would be cool if it did. And the reason why I say that is everything to do with the current variant, as well as the fact that, if Toby and Andrew aren't in this movie,
And that gets spread around. It will, yeah. If they aren't, even if it's just a post-credit scene with Toby or Andrew or both, I think word of mouth will travel, and like that nostalgic crowd that I think a lot of them were banking on will fall off a bit, and that could be an issue as well.
Absolutely.
That could be definitely an issue.
Look at Venom, Let There Be Carnage, right? You had the movie tracking at $40 million, then you had the Spider-Man post-credit scene leak out, and that doubled what it took home in its opening weekend. So obviously there is a big draw for Spider-Man content here, and with the announcement today that they are continuing it in the MCU, that is only going to help it, because it does show that there is the brand is safe, and so people will feel more inclined to go to it. But I do wonder if, again, like with the leaks, like we don't know what's real, we don't know what's not, and that's going to push the big opening. But if it doesn't live up to the hype, it might see itself in a bad position, which I don't want. I don't want that, but that's something to consider.
It is. So, worldwide box office, yeah, Far From Home is the winner. So I for some reason I was thinking one of the original Spider-Mans was the highest, but I was wrong.
Spider-Man 3 has one of the highest production budgets.
Yeah, and it only turned in 890. But yeah, so I don't think it beats Far From Home, but I think it is a close runner-up at 900 million.
I'd be fine with that.
The thing with the box office too is the first Spider-Man movie in 2002 was the highest grossing opening weekend ever with 114 million, I think.
Yeah, right here. So this is I love this site, by the way. It's called The Numbers, and it gives you, like, if there's a franchise, it'll give you every film, production budget, opening weekend, domestic and worldwide. I think it's the most fantastic site, and then it gives you kind of like little graphs here as well. So yeah, if we toggle it for opening weekend, no, it looks like Spider-Man 3 had the biggest opening weekend with 151. And then Spider-Man 2002 had the third largest at 114.
Yes, but for 2002 it was.
Oh no, that's yeah. If you were grading on a curve, I think Spider-Man 2002 takes it because of that reason. Because 114,000 in 2002 is monstrous, like unheard of monstrous, right? So.
Oh, I worked at the drive-in for all three of those films, and yeah, it was nuts all the way through. The brand of Spider-Man is definitely strong. This is being, the third film.
Yeah. Look at the average.
I mean, it's definitely Sony's most valuable property, which is why they don't want to screw it up. I don't think it's going to be a bad movie.
Average box office for Spider-Man in general is 722 million and some change. It's total gross. Anytime Spider-Man has made an appearance in a film, like leading, I don't know what this one is, by the way. What is this? Spider-Man Men in Black 2. I kind of want to like
maybe
wipe
it was
that
like a
off
dual
the
release.
slate. I don't know what that is. Yeah. But if you leave that in for some reason, I don't know why it's there. $7 billion has been grossed worldwide from Spider-Man. Just alone, Spider-Man. Like, that's crazy. It's a huge IP. A huge IP.
And I would go as far as to say that right now, the IP is hotter than ever because of, you got the Tom Holland films, you got the sequel to the PS4 games coming out. You have the just announced Disney Plus Spider-Man freshman years, and I don't think that that's going to be the end of it. Like, we're going to see more. We're going to see more and more Spider-Man content. Like, I think this is like the character's like hottest like time to be. It's a fantastic time to be a Spider-Man fan because we're going to get more and more content as the years go on.
Yeah, if we know anything about Hollywood, they're gonna milk Spider-Man to a thread. They're gonna, yeah, and that's just the way that.
Like I said, I know that like X-Men got the revival. Like they just announced the X-Men revival, and once that freshman Spider-Man cartoon is over, and X-Men will do well, it will. Let's be honest, it will. I don't see why they couldn't continue either Spectacular or the '90s Spider-Man cartoon at that point, because it's more Spider-Man content, which people will go see. And yeah, like you said, to continue to milk it.
Yeah. Well, the Spider-Man cartoon absolutely needs to have a continuation because it ended on that. What?
Yeah.
Sort of
both of them did.
It had a
all right.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Guys. I think what we're going to see is oh, RJ had to go?
Yes, he had to bounce out.
Yeah. I thought you said Jarbo.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
I meant RJ. Sorry.
It doesn't matter. But no, I mean, I will say this. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to establish a Sinister Six franchise out of this movie. And I think the Sinister Six is going to be led by Mephisto or Nightmare. Because I think that, because have you guys seen the leaked image of the multiversal prison?
No.
You have that? So that was I don't have it on me. I'm in my car, but there was an image that came out a while ago that looked like it was from Doctor Strange's lair, and it was like they called it the multiversal prison. That was what it's being referred to as, and there was like 5 slots for it, right? Well, what I'm wondering is, because it does come across like, look, in most movies, and I'm just speaking generally here in regards to some of these films as
You're breaking up a little bit.
movies you watch, how many times does like the mentor character become the villain in movies that we watch, right?
Well, I mean, it's
a
happened in
twist
almost
you
every
sometimes see
Spider-Man
coming,
movie.
you sometimes don't see coming. Damn it. Is that better?
Yeah, you're having a little bit of a trouble. I think we got every other word of what you said.
Is that better?
Well, I got the
That
main
is
question
better.
out of it.
Yeah.
I got
So
the main
are
question
you
out of it.
saying that the
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Say that again.
Okay.
God
Okay.
damn it.
Yeah.
What Matt was saying was how many times do we see the mentor character go bad, basically? And
I'm telling him to pull out and jump in because sometimes that fixes a lot.
I just think that
Nope, not getting it.
Lord have mercy, I'm having the same. I'm in my car too, so I'm having like the same problems.
Was I the only one who? Well, it is easy for me because I work from home during the day. So when I saw this news, I was like, hey, can I take my lunch? And I was like, oh, and by the way, I'm going to take 90 minutes today because I also need to write an article. So I wrote the article and now I'm here.
is that
And
better?
I got 15 minutes left. So speak,
Hmm.
Jarbo. Okay, now he's
Jarbo.
taking my advice now.
Like
850 to 950, huh, Caden? All right.
I think Caden's right. I think this film is going to do great numbers, and piggybacking off what I said a moment ago, like I also think that this could potentially, for the fan bases that love it. So if Tom Holland's going to be in the MCU, that's fine. People that love that version can love that version. But I don't see also why Sony couldn't just pull the trigger and have their cake and eat it too, and finish Andrew's saga or trilogy and give Toby one last hurrah as well.
Yeah, that
Okay,
makes
can you
sense.
guys hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Okay. Stupid internet.
That like using StreamYard on your phone out in the wilderness is never a great option.
Yeah, I've got like full 5G signal where I'm at, so
God.
it should be
I had
okay.
to park.
So yeah, I'm parked next to a library. But it is what it is. All I was saying is just that, like, look, they're establishing Doctor Strange as the villain. He's acting weird in the trailers, and and he screwed up the spell. And if he does end up capturing they have to capture all the villains. So what if they're starting to put together a Sinister 16? And that's what he's just doing. Is like building this together, and then that's what
Oh
Tom's
my God, that's a great fucking idea. That would make so much sense. That because that combines the Doctor Strange acting fishy with the lack of a sixth Sinister Six member.
Yep,
that makes sense. I like that theory, man.
I mean, it's like it's just a theory, but I approach all these things from like how Hollywood writes, and it's not hard to start picking out the threads because a lot of times, unfortunately, screenwriters, they're predictable, and and that's just kind of the par for the course. But yeah, I think it's like, look, there's going to be a twist at the end, and the twist is probably going to be Doctor Strange being Mephisto or Nightmare because of China. Because Mephisto is like the devil, and they can't have the devil in China.
Exactly.
Isn't that the same reason they did that for the Ghost Rider movies? Well, not the exact same reason, but kind of similar.
I believe it was
probably. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I would say that it had something to do with it, but it's not as prevalent because I mean it was the Ghost Rider movies. right? Like we didn't talk about it too much.
Yeah.
They just swept it under the rug.
Well, I mean, if you look at Alien Covenant, for example, the Chinese censors cut out like the vast majority of the xenomorph. You know, Ghostbusters 2016 was not allowed in China because of ghosts and how they deal with ghosts. Deadpool was not allowed in China because of, I forget the reason why. You know, there's a lot of things that are blocked from going to China as a result of their belief structure and everything else. So I
Right.
could see them for the international release changing Mephisto to Nightmare.
What about a combination? Like, you know how they
Okay.
frequently like combine characters and pick traits out of both of them?
Most likely that's it. I mean, and they are pulling from the One More Day storyline, and you have like the Dante's like ninth circle of hell is the frozen lake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mikey made too many like good points during explaining that. I was like, oh my god, like that's crazy.
And there's clearly a lot that they're doing with this that's trying to hint at that. And everyone's talking about Toby and Andrew, but it's like, dude, look at what they have shown us and look at what is potentially going to be coming based upon that.
Right.
And that to me, I'm not lying. That to me at this point is more interesting. I want to see Toby. I want to see Andrew. I'd love to see them get their arcs filled one last time and go from there. But let's be realistic. This is probably a one and done thing. Toby is 46 years old. He wouldn't even be able, if he got his own Spider-Man movie, that wouldn't even happen until he was close to 49 or 50.
Yep. And
So that's a little old.
At one point, we do have to say it's enough is enough, and hang it, like it's time to hang it up and move on. And yeah, like you said, they could do it nostalgically and have a little, like, I think Andrew could continue. Like, Andrew could definitely keep playing Spider-Man for a while, but the real future of Spider-Man is with Tom right now. And that's not a bad thing. I think he's great.
But here's my question, though, and I say this about Batman as well, and this is where the multiverse is a problem for me. We don't need multiple superheroes theatrically. It becomes too much. It becomes confusing and conflicting. And every time I hear somebody say, well, the market is big enough for everything. No, it's not. And stop lying to people.
It's not.
Because when you think about it, like, this is a whole thing with like DC and the multiverse. They're like, you get your Batman, you get your Batman, you get your Batman. It's like now you are saturating the market and you are splitting the market. And you are making it so people have to choose which one is the one that they like, which means that they're not going to probably end up engaging with the ones that they don't like. And that is going to be a potential lost customer. And that's not going to translate to something that is profitable to keep this kind of stuff going, especially as the costs increase for these kind of properties and shows and movies to move forward. I just think it's so irresponsible for people to continuously make those claims. Because it's like, I get it, you want it, I support it myself, but business-wise, it doesn't make a lick of sense. And that is where I think so many people just lose the plot, because they come at it from emotion, and they go, this is what I personally want, versus what is the most realistic option.
That applies, what you just said applies to so many things, right? Especially, like, for instance, like the Batman thing, right? It's the same in DC's plans to even the general concept of them saying, we're going to put a character on screen 4 different times and you get to pick which one you want, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm going to pick one and leave the other 3 behind? That's not a good business model.
Exactly. Like, see, for me personally, I want Ben Affleck. That's the Batman I want. Am I excited to see Keaton come back? Sure, but it's not what I want. I'm still going to see it because it's Keaton. But at the same time, The Batman is probably my most anticipated film of 2022 because of Matt Reeves as a director. That is why I'm excited for that movie. But I also am looking at it like, so we're going to get 3 Batmen on screen in 2022, and no one is actually looking at Warner's and going, this might be a bad idea. Just say it.
Yeah. And I'm excited for the Batman too, but I think what you just said is my case as well. I think I'm more excited because Matt Reeves is directing it than necessarily that Robert Pattinson's starring in it. Because his version of Batman doesn't like get me out of my seat jumping for joy. It's more the fact that I know Reeves can deliver like a stick universe.
And my other side of that too is Michael Giacchino's score, because I feel like Michael Giacchino is probably the closest thing we have to John Williams' replacement.
Interesting.
That I
did not know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Giacchino has done a lot of Pixar. He's done Star Trek 09. He did Cloverfield. If you've ever heard the Cloverfield overture for Roar, it's amazing. Like his work, he did the Batman theme for this movie. So if you go watch that like 30-second preview that they showed us last year and you hear that score, that's Giacchino's score. It's like legit good.
Ooh, okay. That gets me excited. I didn't know all that. I didn't even look into this who's composing it, right? That's something I usually get into like, a week or two before the film. Unless it's a Snyder film, because then you just know.
I love Junkie XL. I really do love Junkie XL.
Same.
So, but his work is specifically one. It has a specific like vibe to it, whereas just like I feel that Giacchino has been able to really come in and craft, because Williams crafts feelings, right?
Right.
Like John Williams is able to craft feelings and emotions, and like I listen to a lot of John Williams, so it's you can pinpoint almost like where in a movie, if you're listening to a Star Wars soundtrack, you can almost pinpoint the exact scene in the movie where you'll hear that score because you recognize it and it evokes an emotion out of you. Like when you listen to Junkie XL and he does like the Wonder Woman theme, like that is a good theme. I didn't like it at first, but it grew on me hard. And, and then it evokes an emotion out of you. And the same thing I think with like Hans Zimmer does that too, but I think Giacchino is the kind of guy that just gets it in a way that a lot of these other guys, like they go dark and melodic, and he kind of like is able to take it. I mean, look, okay, you've seen Up, right?
Yes.
Okay. The openings, the opening 9 minutes of that movie is gut wrenching. And the reason why is if you listen to the score, and that was all Michael Giacchino.
Oh my God.
I didn't know. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It's like people, like, when it comes to movies, it's not just like the writer or the director or the star or the producer. I mean, a lot of it's a combination of how it all comes together and getting the right people for the gig. And I feel like that for me, the Batman is going to be that because Matt Reeves can deliver, Giacchino doing the score. Paul Dano is a weird, twisted SOB.
Yes, he is.
He can play those roles really well, like Prisoner. And seeing him play that out here and getting, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, I can't wait for. So there's a lot of good elements there. Whereas the Flash is like, hey guys, Batman 89 is showing up. That's the hype,
right? Oh God, Anthony, thank you so much, man. Who's Jason Reitman?
That's Ivan Reitman's son, the guy who did Ghostbusters.
Oh, he just did the newest one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Which fantastic, by the way. If no one's seen it, please go see it.
I go see it.
That's the thing. I was like, man, I was going to go see it tonight because I wasn't going to go streaming. And then the Spiderman news broke. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Because like either I got to stream early and like be done by 9:30 p.m. my time and then go see the movie, or just like not go see the movie.
Yeah, that's a tough
That part sucks. Because
Adam, thank you as well. He says the Batman issue is insane. I agree. I think and then I thought this was maybe the second one. Are we doing a showcase show for Spider-Man? Yes. Yeah, we are. And actually we'll be joined that day by the Marvel Studios editor, Jeffrey Ford, who worked on No Way Home. And like he did all the Avengers and Captain America's the second two Iron Men. He did Thor 1. So he's just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to Marvel, and he's a fan first. So that's gonna be really fun. But I forget what I was gonna say. That was embarrassing.
Okay, but
That was really embarrassing.
The Flash theme for Justice League is not going to be in the Flash movie, though.
You
know,
think so?
no,
Not
gonna
even a
go-
recreation of it.
probably not. They don't want to. They don't want to touch. Remember, that movie is considered a cul-de-sac. That movie
Yeah.
is considered a one-off side project. It's an Elseworld story that doesn't go anywhere. The 2017 movie, that's the one that's going places, Ty. That's the one everybody wants to see continue.
Yep.
You know,
Continue the Justice League verse.
Yeah, right?
Justice verse.
like that's what Warner's wants, which is why they're stupid. But obviously, no, I don't. Here's the thing: I'm so not excited for like main canon DCEU at this point, and a lot of it has to do with just what's been going on recently, which is why I like the Batman. I think the Batman is a fresh start. I feel at this point like DC needs to just reboot. I honestly, if it was up to me, this is a hot take. I would probably cancel every project that isn't the Batman and then just start over from that. And I mean, like, I would cancel Stargirl, I would cancel Titans, I'd cancel Doom Patrol, I'd cancel everything remotely associated to not a main canon storyline, and I would just get it all out of the way. I would just push it off to the side and start with the Batman and GCPD and build off of there.
Really?
Yes, I know it's a hot take to make, and it's not to say that I'm against these properties because I will be watching them and enjoying them. But when we talk about the main canon of things and how audiences at this point, again, you cannot deny the success of Marvel. Marvel has turned these movies and these properties into must-see TV. They've created a through line and a narrative with actors who have been happy enough to work with the production company because Kevin Feige makes it his goal to make the talent happy. That's what he does, right? When it comes to the Disney Plus side of things, the reason why he's involved in all that is because his job is to work with the talent to keep them happy and on board doing something that's usually against the kind of thing that they want to do, which would be streaming content. And that's the whole point, is he's able to help navigate and create this really this environment and this universe and this through line that people have given their faith to and their hope to and their love to. And he has had mistakes, but he hasn't faltered and gone back.
And even when there's a film that doesn't blow the fucking socks off you, they still turn out in droves to see it because they have faith in the brand. Like,
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Wait. Why Ant-Man?
Like even Eternals. Like if you get down to the nitty gritty, people like fans of this the cinematic universe, the MCU. By the time maybe day 3 came, word on the street was that it wasn't great. And they still turned out to go see it because they have faith in the brand and what Marvel Studios is doing. And,
well, let me touch upon the Ant-Man thing real quick. Ant-Man 1 is a fun heist movie. Ant-Man 2 is largely non-important.
Nope.
It establishes the quantum realm in order to establish what they need for Endgame, sure. But like, as much as I love Walter Goggins, who I think is one of the best working actors today, he was so vastly underutilized for that film.
The word
Ant-Man 2 is a personal favorite of mine. Other than like my own personal bias, I liked it. I really liked it,
dude. Ant-Man 2 was literally only made to like Jarvo said, introduce that whole that was the basis for the time travel. Aside from that, not. And then the post-credit scene.
I liked it. Okay, like it's not one of my favorites of all time. I liked it. Okay, like it's not a bad movie.
I think it's like a bad movie.
Like, I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think it lacked direction. However, at the time we were in the end. We were building up to the Avengers and whatnot, and maybe because it came out after Infinity War, it just lacked the oomph. You know what I mean? It just lacked the oomph that it needed. Like Captain Marvel, again, largely irrelevant in the pantheon of the MCU.
Agreed.
Because nothing in that movie really matters, right? Yet nothing really matters yet. But it was again a lead into Endgame, and then at the end of Spider-Man, Far From Home, we found out that the Skrulls were there, and that the Skrulls have a sword base, and then now they're doing Secret Wars, right? Or Secret Invasion they're shooting right now.
I always say the opposite. So
Yeah, I always get them mixed up. But they're shooting that right now, which is going to deal with the scrolls. So that wasn't opening that and giving us more Talos is great because Ben Mendelsohn freaking knocked it out of the park in the role. And that's the whole point. So it's like they're building up to it, which is awesome. I don't know what Quantumania is introducing Kang the Conqueror, so that's going to be introducing us to our next big bad guy. That's going to carry us through the multiversal saga. So it's like, look, my point is, and then I actually do have to go because I have to go get my kid.
yeah,
But
we're all gonna wrap up.
The thing with it is, though, is that Marvel will lay the Easter eggs now, and it may not be the most rewarding, but they plant those seeds so then down the road they can grow, and then you can reap the benefit. Whereas DC will plant the seeds, and then as soon as it doesn't go their way, they're like, abort.
Yeah,
Salt the earth. Nothing can ever grow again. And like that's the whole point. It's like I can talk about Marvel for days and days and days and get hyped up for days and days and days. Whereas if I start talking DC, I just get really angry.
yeah.
I
agree.
It just kills it. And then I get accused of gaslighting people, but that's a whole other fucking argument.
I
Yeah,
just focus on, when it comes to DC, I just focus on the projects and stuff that I'm interested in, and like leave everything else to the wayside.
The thing about DC, and then we're gonna wrap up. The thing about DC, I agree with Jarbo, is like that's like saying like after Avengers, Age of Ultron didn't do so well, Kevin Feige was like, well, fucking scrap it all, start from scratch. Green light I don't know, Ms. Marvel show. I know it's coming out, but that's my Batwoman comparison.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, unlike
Blue
Batwoman,
Beetle.
that's going to be a good show.
Yeah, but I need to know who my Justice League is before I get a Batwoman. That's my opinion, though. That's I need a foundation to build my house on. Typically,
well, when you build your house on sand, it traditionally falls apart. Whereas, again, Marvel having, just having an architect. It's not even like that's the thing. It's just the thing with DC. Just having an architect would be best. And I'm sorry, it's not Greg Berlanti, because he spread himself so thin.
Arrowverse is trash.
Well, it became
Thank
trash.
you.
It was good for a while.
Yeah, and then Flash came out. Sorry, Flash season 2.
No, Flash had a good solid couple first seasons. Okay.
You see what I did?
Let's not even talk about Arrow where that went down the road.
No. Listen, I was a firm Arrowverse guy for a long time, and then I couldn't do it anymore. My eyes would melt every time Iris came on screen. Like I'm like, oh, like I need to go.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite because I think Candace Patton is beautiful.
Dude,
So
she's amazing.
I
Just
swoon,
the
baby.
lines that are given to her for this,
Oh yeah.
no good. And same with Felicity from Arrow. Like they were there for one reason. And that's why I'm surprised that like Geeks and Gamers doesn't fucking attack those shows. But hey, they don't make headlines. So
You know why? Because only 1.5 million people watch them.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
I mean, like people can sit there and argue that the Arrowverse is successful, and for the CW, it's successful. Here's the thing. When Supergirl was on CBS for that one season, it was their lowest viewed show, right? But even their lowest viewed show was still like 2 or 3 times more viewed than the highest viewed show on CW.
Damn.
Yep.
That is how big, for one, CBS's audience is, and 2, how little CW pulls in. Whereas looking at the numbers for, let's say, WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier or Loki or now Hawkeye, those numbers are like in the 90 million range.
Did you see the Hawkeye number?
No, I didn't yet.
Oh God, I just had it too.
But I
was unreal.
Did you see the Hollywood Reporter put out that study, that poll about how like 85% of Disney Plus users that they sampled have Disney Plus predominantly for Marvel content, and like Marvel content is so intertwined to Disney Plus right now that is probably the main driving factor, which is why they're going to be why they're building as much as they are. Star Wars will get there. Do not get me wrong. I think Star Wars is going to is to. I think eventually Star Wars can even overtake Marvel content if they do it right, and I think they will do it right. That's my hope, at least. But the whole point, what I'm trying to say here, is just that they've clearly built a brand. That brand is built on a very strong foundation. Even if they have a weak wall, they find a way to reinforce it and keep building. And that is where there's the loyalty and the love and everything else. And again, think of it like this: they're still like expanding into weirder areas with like Loki is like a Doctor Who kind of show. Falcon and Winter Soldier is like a spy thriller, tied into like the everything. WandaVision was like a weird sitcom.
And then you got Hawkeye, which is for lack
Die Hard.
Which is Die Hard. Yeah, and it's awesome. I love it. I love it. Anyway, people that are like, oh my god, the first episodes are boring. I'm like, have you never seen a Shane Black movie? Like, what are you doing? Have you never watched John McTiernan in the 80s? You insipid buffoons! Like, what the hell? My girlfriend is not even into this kind of stuff, and I popped on Hawkeye, and she started just kind of tangentially paying attention, and she was like, "This is awesome." And I'm like, well, you got to watch Black Widow, babe. We're gonna watch Black Widow before we get too far into this thing, so you can play catch up on that. But that's the thing. Even your normies who are not even fully aware of everything will tune to it and go, "Oh, okay, this seems familiar to me because I've seen it before. I maybe not have engaged in it enough, but I feel a comfortability factor there, and they'll be able to get in." And then the other part of it is this: the word of mouth from the fan base is going to open it up. Right. And that's the thing. I'll say this about Snyder, and then I absolutely positively have to leave. But the Snyder Cut did well for opening up word of mouth about this film to a lot of people. The problem is not the fans. The problem was the studio not wanting to continue. That was a poor oversight on their part. However, financially speaking, it makes the most amount of sense. And I say this because the budgets for that movie, when you combine the original production, the reshoot, and then the remaster, was north of almost coming up to $400 million. So the impact value to to HBO Max for the Snyder Cut maybe wasn't as big as they wanted it to be, because they're also very small at that point in time and they're now building. But the PVOD stuff did quite well, and we don't have the numbers fully yet for the movie on home video, but Wonder Woman 84 still has outperformed home video wise the Snyder Cut, even though that's a god awful movie.
Yeah, I can't understand that.
So when you just look at the numbers of everything and you start looking at it objectively, you can see that Warner's is just not interested in investing that kind of cash, which is why Blue Beetle and Batgirl are going to be tangentially connected to that universe, but they're going to have like maybe $90 million budgets, because that is where they're going to try to build the fan base, is smaller projects that are going to be able to come out quicker. If you want more, that's great. But think about the budget at this point for Gal, for Jason, for Ray, for Ben, for Henry, for Ezra. I mean, the money considered alone, unless they're, and if they put all of this on streaming, there's no profit sharing on streaming. So that's why Netflix spent $200-300 million on effing Red Notice, because they paid The Rock up front, they paid Ryan up front, they paid Gal up front. I think it was like $20 million each or something like that to do this movie.
Right, and that's a nice little payday for them.
It's a huge payday for them.
And then it doesn't. The film success doesn't matter at that point. And not that it doesn't matter, but they don't have to pay the actors any more or any less. It's that, you know what I mean? It's from there, right? They didn't have to. I mean, I'm sure that they, unless it was like worked into a contract, right? That like they got a percentage of it.
Well, no, again, that's kind of the whole point, is it's all the pay to play.
Pay you up front, and that's it. That's the benefit of it. Yeah.
And that's what they do, and that's what they do for everybody, which is why they've accrued so much debt. And it's that whole thing where I was looking yesterday. The guy who wrote, sorry, I'm driving because I have to go, and I'm like running behind now. But the guy who wrote Doctor Strange had said that what was it? Enough people watched that Netflix reporting the view count numbers for, or it should say the hours watched for Red Notice, puts it at about approximately $1.4 billion in and you know, uh, screen time of people watching it in theaters. So while they can't properly put the impact value, he's able to talk about it from that perspective of like, look, this movie was so big for Netflix that had this come out in theaters, it would have been a $1.4 billion movie. And so,
Oh my God.
you think of it from that perspective and you're like, this is where their money comes from.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
right.
I gotta run.
Yeah,
I probably
man.
shouldn't be driving and talking.
No, it's okay. Drive safely, and we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you for joining. Okay.
All right, see you guys later. Have a good one, and be happy with one another.
Yeah, happy Spider Monday or Electro Monday or whatever it is.
Spider Monday. I love it.
Did you see the commercial? It was.
I did. Electric can go stick his finger in a socket. It's Spider Monday.
He'd be fine. He wouldn't. Nothing would happen to him if he stopped.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he'd go be happy somewhere else. Let this be Spider Monday. Let me have my happiness.
Also, don't know if Meta saw, but someone rented out an entire theater for. I'm assuming No Way Home. Yeah, I think Austin was planning on doing that with RJ or something. Super Universe, man. I haven't seen you in an ill minute. But I didn't know if they did it or not. Because I know so put it this way, as a theater's perspective, to rent out a theater on if it's in the first 3 to 5 days of release, it's in the theater's best interest to not rent the theater out.
Like, how much would it be to rent a theater out anyway?
Depends. During the pandemic, they were doing it for like $100, $200.
Oh my God!
But regularly, it's like 1,000 or 800 to like 1,000 is what Showcase.
Got that hella discount during the pandemic.
Yeah, because they just wanted asses in seats at any cost.
Fair enough.
We're doing well, man. We're doing well. But I honestly have to wrap up too. I was not expecting this to go an hour and a half. I was honestly going to do 15 minutes. Thank you for everyone who stopped by today. Super Universe, Anthony, Donovan, Adam, even Andrew Caselli was very mad today, but it's okay. We still love you guys. And Sam and Billy and I think I already said Adam and Nick is what I meant. You guys and Caden, Austin, RJ.
Did you mention Adam?
I think Adam was here. And then obviously Meta was here. JP's here. So, it was a Monday before 3:00, which is, this was fun. I'm glad we did it. Guys, what's today's date?
29th of November.
Tomorrow we'll be giving away our microphone and pop. Our microphone is HyperX Quadcast. It's a $150 microphone. It's got awesome red LEDs. It's got a shock mount. So if I had a shock mount and I hit that, you wouldn't be able to hear it, but you probably did, right? So that's what that helps with. It helps with the normal wear and tear of microphone arms and moving microphones around while you're streaming. So like I said, we're giving that away as a prize for the month of November. If you'd like to win it, you have about 48 hours to become a member. And then we'll be announcing our winner. I'm also giving away a Superior Octopus Pop that I've been trying to give away since God knows how long I've been trying to give this fucking thing away. Yeah, but anyway, we're giving away that as well. So all the winners will be announced tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at I think I'm gonna wait as long as possible. So probably like 11:30. I'll tweet out the winners after. I'll put a little video put together as well, with like drawing the name, just so you know it's fair and I'm not just picking my favorite member because it would be me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a member. Thank you everyone for showing up. It always means a lot to me. And I've been forgetting to do this, but right now we're working with TubeBuddy. So you guys can get a discount. If you guys want to make your lives, I've been using TubeBuddy, and there's another one that I use as well, but I don't know if I should say the name because it's like direct competition, and I think that would defeat the purpose. But I use TubeBuddy, and I've been using it since I created my YouTube channel. It helps so much with SEO, which is search engine optimization. You don't know how well your videos can do until you start optimizing them to reach the broadest and most specific audience. You can either generalize it so you get a lot of people who are a little bit interested, or you can get the people that are only interested in what you're talking about, or your niche or whatever. It also helps you with so many other things, like creating titles, what your title length should be, how it should be phrased properly. So if you sign up, use code POP and you'll get, I don't know exactly the discount off the top of my head, but it helps us as well. Obviously, we wouldn't do it if it didn't. But trust me, if you're a YouTuber or a podcaster and you don't use it, you're selling yourself short. And I don't say that because we're working with them. I actually reached out to them to do this, because I love what they do. And it integrates with YouTube. So you don't have to have a third-party app or anything. It integrates with your YouTube. So it's not some weird sham site. Like, YouTube recognizes it as a integrated software. So definitely sign up. The code is in the description below, or the links in the description below, I should say. And
I, for one, will do that. Not a bit. Hashtag not a bit. I will genuinely do that.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's so worth it. I'll give you, the other one is vidIQ. There's a free option for vidIQ for you to use. There's also a free option of TubeBuddy, but you can do the paid memberships, which give you a lot more. And it's really cheap. It's like $4 a month or something like that.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah, dude, sign up under code POP. We're going to be running this for the foreseeable future, because there's nothing better than when you optimize a video, because you get the most bang for your buck. And a lot of people don't know how to use video tags and SEO. So this helps you. It also has a built-in thumbnail maker and everything like that. So it's your one-stop shop for all things YouTube. Super Universe, I can't give you the microphone for free if that's what you're asking. I need a mic. Well, I mean, generally microphones are getting cheaper. Generally, there's some at Best Buy. Yeah, there's some at Best Buy for like $50. I'm giving the microphone away to the members because I bought it for myself, and I use XLR now, which is a different style microphone. This is a USB, so it's mostly for a streamer who streams by themselves, and doesn't like edit their audio. Speaking of Metaverse, I have to text you a little bit later. All right, guys.
Yeah, man, I'm off today, so just hit me up whenever.
All right, guys, and that will do it for today's show. And just remember,
you can't make this shit up.
You can't make this shit up. You can't.
Oh my God.
From our friend Doomcock.